What's up, everyone? We're live. Welcome back to this live stream here on YouTube and Facebook. I'm excited to be here today and to share the weekly review with you. So we are live, and I think it's working fine. I'm in the chat if everything is good, of course. I'm looking here at my TV set up where I can kind of look at the screen on the TV here, and then we'll do the chart review over here. So a bit confusing, but let's get started with that. What I want to do today is, it's been a long time we didn't do these reviews together, this kind of like weekly reviews in the chart, and me showing things I look for the week. So I want to do that again, but in a different format. I'll share with you things that I look up to this week on the chart, things I want to trade, things that I'm looking forward to seeing happen on the chart, and also kind of how to prepare properly for the week, what things to do on the chart, what things to think about, what things to not do wrong, and I'll show you how I set up my algo every single week, how it was the process to look at the zones, put them in the algo every single week. So that's what we'll do today. If you have any questions, comment in the chat, or in the chat or in the comment section below if you're watching the replay. I'll be happy to answer your questions, kind of guide you through things I look at. Let me just move the chat over here. Awesome, we have Colin. Nice, it's been a long time seeing you, Colin. Welcome. Cool. Yeah, so I want to kind of do that, and I'm not sure if the microphone is wrong or if it's fine. Cool, awesome. Yeah, so that's the plan. Sound should be good. Perfect, awesome. Yeah, so here we have the chart. By the way, my camera is really bad looking. It's my laptop, because I have to do these live streams on my laptop. Yeah, I use my tablet for trading and everything around, but the laptop is good for live streams. So camera sucks, but we'll deal with it. Let me now go on the charts, which you'll see pop up over here. And this should be working fine. So I couldn't make the chart full screen for some reason. This is like almost full screen. It should work out fine, and we'll find a way to make it better, of course, maybe next time. Okay, so what I want to do here is show you these. Actually, first things first, how do I set up my algo every single week? And by the way, for that review today, I'll try to make it more simple in the sense that I will show you only the pairs that I really look at and the pairs that are important. The other pairs on my watch list that are not important, I'll skip them. And if you want to see them covered, we can do that next time too, of course. But I will not focus here on things that are important for this week, and not the other things that are not. So this should be working out fine. Yeah, awesome, cool. So yeah, let's go to first things first. How do I set up my algo every single week? So I have here on Google Drive a folder that's called trading. Now you can call it whatever you want. That's not the point. You can do whatever you prefer. But what I'm doing here is I have in this folder things for my trading, of course. So I have this document here for weekly trade improvement, which I've shared with you before on a video. That's called How to Learn from Your Losses. But what I want to show you here is, I have some backtests, of course, different things. But this file here, BBRSR, this is my file where I put my zones for support and resistance areas. Now, what this is it's a file that we can download after, and we can upload into the algo that I use. So the algo being called the trading assistant for my strategy that I've been creating and using. And by the way, shout out to Hernando for creating this. That's a really awesome way to do the zones on a weekly basis. And Hernando is the guy who's coding all the algo and everything for me. So this is really awesome that he did that. So what that does is pretty simple. You put here your symbols, symbol you trade. You'll see I trade a couple here. I removed a few recently, but those are the ones that I trade. Here you see, so end date. If you want to put some different zones that end at a certain date, you can do that if you want. Then you have resistance 1, R1. This is the top level in your support, in your resistance area. So you have like two zones. You have a zone that's up. I mean, let me explain that. So you have, we'll see on the chart pretty soon. You have two lines in the zone, the top one and the lower one, which makes like a zone together, like a rectangle. So the top zone is R1, and the lower zone is R2. And then we have something here for support. Support 1 is the highest one, and support 2 is the lowest one. Now this gives us a box of here around like 100 pip. It could be different, it could be more, it could be less. Doesn't really matter. And that's gonna be your zone to look for bullish setup, and that's your zone here to look for bearish setup, the resistance zone. And then here we have, if you want to put the zone to be live, and use it to trade through, of course, because we're gonna all use through for all the zones. If you have no zone, just put 0, and that's fine. So that's how we do things. I've not left the link below for that. If you want to grab the algo, we have the trading assistant, but you can probably find it on the website. Some things that's really important for now. I just want to share with you how that works. And now we'll get to the charts. That's going to be more important. So I want to show you here on the chart while I look at my analysis. Again, good morning to Bronx LT in New York. And Colin, like I said before, Colin is in Australia, which is awesome to connect with you guys. If you have any questions, you can always comment in the chat. You can always type your questions there. Or if you have something you look that's similar to me or different, you can always comment there as well. And we'll make sure to I'll make sure to get back to you and answer your questions, of course. All right. So first pair I'll look at. By the way, I'm looking at the pairs here mostly on a daily chart. Some pairs I'll see some trades I entered last week, and those will look on a lower time frame because I trade on the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour charts. But to do my analysis, that's purely on the daily chart or weekly chart, depending on the pair and how the price is moving. So first pair I want to look at here is Aod Cad. So Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. Now this pair is reaching a resistance area. See how before, and by the way, I'm drawing these zones here for my support resistance areas. It's easier to see. So price earlier has been moving here sideways between 0.97 or 0.96 and 0.93 or so. Now price moved there for a while, been in that range for some time. Let's see if we can make this bigger over here. That way. Awesome. So price been moving a lot in that zone for quite a few months, from until here, so since June 2020 all the way to here when it broke out, December 2020, so last year. Price broke out above, tried to reach the top level here of 99 or the 1, and then went back down to this level here again, which became a support, fell to that support, and now we're coming back to a place where we are testing again this resistance area. It was a support, it was a resistance over here. It turned to be a support over here, which failed, and now it will be a resistance over here at this level. That's why I'm looking for bearish trades over here. I'm looking for a move to the downside on this chart and having price go back toward this level over here at 0.93. Now, it doesn't mean that you'll have price go there trade directly right away. This might take some time, might take a few months even, but for the purpose of trading, we just need to have a valid zone, a high or a reliable zone, and that's what we care about for trading. So now that we've done this is the first part, and you can use whatever strategy you want for this. You will look on lower time frame for trades. You can use if you want to use a RSI, you can use that. I use myself the Bollinger Band, which I can show you how to do it. I've done it before many times on the channel. So if you have any question on this, you can also comment in the chat. I'll make sure to adjust that. But you can look at whatever strategy you want, as long as you look for, at this zone here, in my opinion, bearish trades. That's all that matters. You will be a bit clueless to look for bullish trades here, because price could go up, and of course it could happen. But the tendency here for prices to go to the downside, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. People have different strategies, different styles. You can do something different or something similar. That's totally fun. I'm just here to share my analysis, what I do myself in the market, and you can do whatever you want after. That's up to you. Okay, so we'll skip that pair because it's doing the same thing. Here we get to AOD New Zealand dollar. So notice how this pair should be correlated because it's both AOD and AOD over here. These pairs should go normally, unless some other circumstances, should go in the same direction. But this pair here, AOD and Zd, is at a support zone. See how we've had about the same as the other pairs before. We had price range for some time here from September here 2020 all the way to over here where we broke out March this year. So yeah, more than a year. Now price broke out, didn't reach the top over here directly, 1.09 or 1.10, but came back down here to retest the zone. That's why we look for bullish trades. A previous resistance turning into a support over here. So I'm looking for here bullish trades on the lower time frame, of course. Expecting price to definitely go all the way to the stop side over here. Okay, so that's what I look for this pair. Same principle, but the inverse. So what's likely to happen here is that maybe you enter trades on both pair, Aod Cad and Aod and Zd, and maybe one trade works out, the other trade doesn't work out because it goes against you. That's totally possible. But that's why we have to look at all these pairs, because even though they're correlated, they might have different setups, and one might work while the other one doesn't work. So that's why it's important to look at all the pairs that we understand and that we have good stats for, and then trade those when we have, of course, the right setup. So next pair here, ADUSD, that is close to the zone. Here we have what we call, or what you could call, if you want, a head and shoulder pattern. And it's not a complete pattern because we didn't really broke down. So basically, if you have a head and shoulder pattern, let me see if I can draw this here. I don't trade those myself. I'm just showing because it's simple. It's kind of cool to know. But I don't trade those myself. So what you have is you have this kind of pattern over here. That will be the left shoulder here, that one over here, and this one like this. And we should be seeing a break of, actually this is the head, so 1 second. Okay, something like this. Then the right shoulder and something like here. Now, to be able to trade that, you would have to have a break of this line over here, which is called the neckline. It's not really clear, but there we go, perfect. So you only have a break of this neckline over here, which we didn't have yet, but price is apparently going back to touch the resistance area over here at 0.78 or 79. And that's when I expect price to go back there and then look for a bearish trade. So back to the downside from this level. Okay, it will be in line with the head and shoulders we have, which is not completed yet, but that will be in line with that. So that would be really cool. But same principle as the other pair. So this pair, AOD-USD, is doing the same thing as, or actually, yeah, doing pretty much the same as Aod and Zd. So pretty interesting to see. Now let's have a look at our other pairs here, Gbp and Zd. This pair is in between levels at the moment, but the reason why I want to share it today with you is that price is going back close to a support area here, where we've bounced many times in the past. So we had over here at first, let me just zoom in a little bit for you. We had there, this is in July 2020. We came back at the end of July 2020, came back here again, September 2020. And then we came back again here. We kind of bounced, but not so much in November. Then we broke down, we retested here many times. We broke above, we went out of level. We hit this high here at 1.97. But now we're coming back down over there to retest the zone, which to me, I'll just remove that here, not an opponent, which to me sounds like a good place to look for, that's not working, good place to look for bullish trades. And I just remove everything, perfect. Anyway, so a good place to just look here for bullish trades to the upside, of course. And yeah, so that sounds pretty good. Given that price touched the zones many times in the past, okay, like at least 4 or 5 or so times, and now it's coming back to that zone. That's pretty cool to see. It will take some time though to get there. So we have this big engulfing candle at the end of the week last week, and so this week I expect price to maybe stay there again, but maybe over the long term go down to the support area. All right, awesome. And same thing goes with GBP USD. Should be correlated. This pair is also in between levels, but approaching this resistance area here at 1.39 or so. 1 second here. My girlfriend's texting me, of course. Awesome. Perfect. Awesome. So that being said, now we have, yeah, this right here reaching the resistance area at 1.39 or so. Expecting the price to go back down. It could also reach this zone over here, the support, and go back up. Both ways are possible. And yeah, so that's what we look at for this pair. Next pair, NZD Cad. I'm not sure if we should have a look at it. I want to show you now some trades because that's the thing that some people might look for. Actually, yeah, this one. Yeah, NZD Cad. I'm not sure why I didn't flag it. Let me just flag it over here. There we go. NZD Cad, price is reaching a resistance area. So a lot of these pairs are doing the same thing. They reach like major level. That's why I trade them. This level here at 0.90 or so, or 89. Price bounced there in the past, over here, over there, over here again. And now we're coming back to that level where we expect price to bounce and come back to the lower side. Of course, it's always a game of probability. Price could bounce and go back up after, price could hit the stop level again over here at 0.92 or 93. Those are all places to look for trades, either over here at the high or over here in the middle. We had this range before and this zone over here. So those are both ways to do it. Now I expect price to go back to the downside, and that's what I look for this trade. We already have a nice engulfing candle here. Let me just see if we had a stand up on this pair. Just have a look here quickly. So all these arrow here are setups. Not all that I enter, or not all that are valid, but they are set up anyways. We didn't have any move yet. The engulfing was new, and over here, no, we didn't have anything yet. So that could be a good place to look for bearish setup over here. And now these are pairs that I took trades on the past week. The first one was USD Cad, and the other one is USD Both are correlated for sure, but the trades were still good. And I always try to split my risk when I take trades that are correlated if I can. So let's say if I'm going to risk 1% per trade on average, usually, I'll split the risk in half, do 0.5 on each trade, and that works out fine for these correlated pairs. All right, so let's go into the big picture first, and then go down to the trades. Here we have price on USD CAD. That was going in a trend line. Now, trend lines, I don't really care about them. I don't really trade them much. But we had this top or this trend line going down. So this downward trend line, if you want to call it that way. But also what I cared about is that price reached this level over here at 1.25, bounced off it, retested the level, and then started to go down after. So right when price broke the level and started to bounce, I was looking for here bearish trades at this level. Now I'm not gonna trade on the daily chart. That would be a bad risk to reward, or a bad reward to risk. I'm gonna go on lower time frames. And what I've done is I've gone on lower time frames. Now you see this up already here, but I'll just open this chart. I look at the 1 hour chart and the 4 hour chart. So we had one setup over here, but the reason why we didn't take that one is because we want to have price breaking below the low of the engulfing candle over there to enter the trade. Okay, of course, the other criteria here is we need to have a alignment with the Bollinger Band. So I'll just put the Bollinger Band over here. We need to have price breaking the Bollinger Band and coming back inside and making an engulfing candle. So, but the thing is, we have to enter below the low of the engulfing candle. So we would enter here. If not triggered at the next candlestick, we have to cancel the order. This one was not triggered because you see the price on this candlestick here after the bullish one or the white one was not going below the low of the engulfing candle. So we cannot take that trade. We have to cancel this one. So we go forward. We just wait. We are patient. Then we have the second trade over here. Same principle. Price breaking the Bollinger Band. Engulfing candle after. Engulfing the whole candle before, including the wick. Then we enter below the low over there. And we put a stop loss above the high. And the reward to risk, in my case, I do 1-to-1 and 3-to-1. So I do a first take profit with half the size at 1-to-1, and the other take profit with the other half at 3-to-1. So that looks something like this. You put this in your chart. And the 1-to-1 has already been reached. The 3-to-1, not yet. So 1-to-1 was pretty easy. We reached there in a few hours. Okay, 1-to-1 was around there. So that was pretty fast. Now the 3-to-1 is a bit tougher to reach. If you want, you can always move your stop loss to break even when you reach 1-to-1. That works out fine. And you can choose your own take profits. I'm just saying what I do myself, which works for me. But it could be different for you. So 3-to-1, we're not there yet. But 3-to-1 is around there. And my algo took this trade, so I didn't take it manually. This strategy is triggered by the algo. Have another one for manual trading that I would have entered also, but last week I was not trading that much manually, so the algo did it for me instead. And so that's what the algo took. So no need to manage the trade from there. It's all done by the algo. So that's one trade. That's the first one. The other one is the same, but on USD/GPY. And this pair is the 1 hour chart. Let's go back a little bit. This pair was reaching a resistance area here on a daily chart. If we zoom back, we'll see that price went there many times before, over here in 2020, so 1 year ago in February and March. in April as well. And if you go back, we can surprise some mystery at this level also. Now, what I was looking at here is a move to the downside, of course, because we hit the resistance area. So a resistance area. And we'll go on low time frame, of course, to trade that. So what I did is I went in the 1 hour chart, forward chart, and see we have a setup over here. I'm not sure if we had one on the 1 hour chart too. Yeah, we had two setups. We had one on the 1 hour chart, which was on April 6th, and this one on March 31st. So we could have taken both. Actually, no, this one wouldn't be triggered. Because see, like I told you, we didn't go beyond or below the low. So that one, you can forget it. But this one was a good one. And so what we'll look at, or what we do in that case, is in principle, we have price breaking the Bollinger Band and Golden Candle to bring back within the Bollinger Band. We enter below the low, stop loss beyond the high, and we are to risk of 1-to-1, 3-to-1, like we said before. Put this right there. So 1-to-1 was triggered. I believe 3-to-1 was also closed. I'm not sure. Yes, this 3-to-1 was closed on this pair as well. So 1-to-1 was here, reached in the next hour or so. That was really fast. And then 3-to-1 was, yeah, was over there or so. A little bit lower than that. But that would be the other example. Now, one thing you can do with this strategy as well, which I didn't mention, is the fact that you can also exit. And I mentioned this recently in the training I was doing. But you can also, one way to exit out of trades that go back. So let's say you have a lot of trades that go in your favor and go back to hit your stop loss, or go back to being losses after, is you can start to exit your trades on opposite setups. So you have your setup, and when it's something that's opposite, so the same setup but the inverse, you get off the trade. Now you can do that. I don't do it myself because I found that it's not really always reliable. And you got to think about the fact that if you set up as let's say a 50% win rate, and then the opposite would be 50% also. So that would mean that half the time you'll be right, the other half you will not be right. So it's not always worth it to do that. But what you can do is, here we had an opposite setup, and we would have exited the trade about at the same time. Now in this case, it wasn't rewarded because price went down furthermore. Right, price went down to here, but overall we came back, and it took a long time, and we kind of wasted time here. So it could have been a good idea to go out when this opposite trade got closed. Like I said, I don't do that. This can save you a lot of time. But in my case, it's not something I do myself. You could do it if you want, though. So that's it for this trade here on USD GPY. Now we had USD Singapore, which is a pair I like to trade. I didn't have a look at it this week so far. Let me just see. Yeah, we're between zones. We can avoid that for now. That's fine. These two levels here, 1.35 and 1.32, are support and resistance areas we can look for. Gold is also reaching a resistance over here at 1,780. So we can look for bear trades there. We've been there many times before, over there, over here. Good place to look for a bear trade on this pair. And then cryptos, I look at them since recently. I've sold almost all that I had in cryptos. I keep a little bit of it, but really I've kind of got out for the most part. You'll see that price is really, really kind of pushing to extremes. It's really like a bubble now, so I got out. You can keep it if you want. You can get out. It's up to you. But for me, it's getting a bit too risky now, and I've almost tripled my investment so far. So it's just not worth it to stay in to be there. But yeah, you set all the pairs like this. It looks decent because you see you have these pullbacks, these retracements and things. But if you go back on like a monthly chart or weekly chart, it's getting pretty insane. So exactly the same that we had when we had the breakdown before. So it doesn't look too good for me, especially if you go to these pairs like Bitcoin for sure, Bitcoin Cash especially. Those are pretty crazy. Yeah. So that's it, guys. I hope this was useful for you. If you have any question, I'll take a few minutes to answer your questions here in the chat. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a Coinbase IPO as well. Good point for Clemma. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll take a few minutes here to answer your question. Let me see if I can do this over here. Curious about that. So you guys can see the chat. You cannot see it. All right, cool. Yeah, so I want to ask some question here, and yeah, let's go back a little bit. So Thank you, Tim, for your comment. I appreciate it a lot. Tim was saying this is good analysis. I appreciate that. Clement was asking, do you really make money with this? Yeah, definitely over a long period, you make money with this. It's not something you get you get rich quick with trading. I don't do that. And as you know, that's probably bullshit. But I make money with this over a long period of time. And yeah. Yes, this will be saved and available later. No problem. You can watch it on YouTube or Facebook at any time. It's going to be there. And yeah, the thing to remember here is that you will always have opinions about the market, about Bitcoins, about gold, about anything of the sort. And your opinions are about half accurate. So you're going to be like 50% right. Sometimes you'll be super excited because you were right and you told people that it would rise or it would go down or whatever. But then the other half of the time, it's not going to work out. So predictions in this market, especially now, don't really matter much. Of course, you could say it's going to go up because it's been up for a long time, but it's not really what I focus on when I decide to take a trade or I decide to get in the market or not. I don't really look at my opinions. I look at my data and my edge and what's been proven to be right in the past. That's the main thing that I look at, not predictions or anything of the sort. Bronx is asking how many trades you keep open at the same time. I have about, it depends, but never more than about 5 or 6 trades. And that's usually my maximum. I tend to go in on a few pairs. Like you see, I don't trade too many pairs. I have about 15 pairs or so. And that's all that I do. So yeah, not that many. Then you have to look at when they are in the right zone and things. So yeah, 5 trades is about the maximum, I would say, at the same time. Yes, the market, like Colin was mentioning here, the market is not too volatile. So 3-to-1 could be tough to achieve. Although I find if you pick the right zone, 3-to-1 is usually pretty easy to achieve. Now, you could make your targets tighter. That works out fine too. You could do just 1-to-1 if you want. The win rate at 1-to-1 now is pretty good usually. Or you can do a 2-to-1. 2-to-1, I used to do that a lot myself. Works out fine too. Depends on the market, but based on my data and my testing, 3-to-1 for me was the best. Of course, it's bigger than 2-to-1, so the win rate is lower. But yeah, that definitely depends. And let's do here. Leon Ivy was mentioning how to check JPY on a forward chart, 1 hour chart, and kind of do the analysis. So that could be good to do it. So I don't trade this pair myself. Actually, I used to trade it, but the stats were really bad, so I stopped trading it. But let's do an analysis like we would do here on the chart. I'm kind of curious. It's been a long time I look at this pair. So that's trending quite a lot. That's interesting to see. Awesome. So here's what I would do if I were to look at this pair for myself for trading, which I don't, but let's just say that I were to do that. First, I would look at putting down some resistance areas. And the way I would do is I would take the line over here. Just bring my favorite thing there. I'll put some lines like this. I would try to look at the highs and the lows. And we'll look at these zones. So we have one over here. And one over there. And we have some points over here. Maybe some points there. Cool. And that would be the place I look at. So this one aligns with this one. That's pretty cool. Cool. Awesome. Nice. And then from there, I would try to maybe look at putting some colors, like I've showed you before, the boxes that I do for my zones. I take this square over here. If it's a support, I'll put it here below as a green box. And if it's a resistance, I'll put it here above. Well, now we have no resistance. Let me just try to find one quickly. Or maybe price is making an all-time high now. Perfect. Okay, so this will be here our resistance area. Let's go this. And we're pretty close to it. So if I have a resistance area, what I'll do is I'll just take the same thing as this zone over here. I'll put it above. And I'll make it a red zone like this. And now we're pretty much good to go. Awesome. Let me get the word too. So now let's think about what options we have to trade this pair right now. Well, we have 2 options. Either price goes down and gives us a nice pullback area within the trend to look for bullish trades, which that would be something over here. price will go down, give us a nice pullback over here, then go back to the upside. We have a lot of room for profit here on this pair. Or the opposite could happen, is price would hit a resistance area and price will go down, and then we could have a nice bearish trade to go back to this level. Maybe not this level, maybe a bit tighter, because we are trading against the trend in that case. If you look at this resistance level, because keep in mind the price has been going upside for a long time over here, for about since September last year, so that's a lot. So if you look for bearish trades at this top level, at this resistance, you will have to take your profit faster than if you look for bullish trades over at this area over here. Now, if you have a trade that's open already, I hope you took it at this level also, not in the middle, because that's a really bad place to take a trade. If you go in the forward chart, we have to, so I'm just going to zoom in a little. We're pretty far now. Price isn't making any setup over here for me on the forward chart. If you go on the 1 hour chart, same thing goes. Let me just see. No, I don't have the. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, we had a setup over here, which we wouldn't have taken because we don't go below. This pair is very not volatile, right? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, 50 pips. No, it's not bad. Not bad. Yeah. So this setup we would not have taken it because we have to enter below low. That doesn't count for me. And if you go see on our forward chart, we didn't have any setup over here so far. So yeah, around this level here, I think 1.47 or so is a good place to look for bullish trades, and 1.54 for bearish trades. That's what I would look at for this pair. Hope that answers your questions. Awesome. So I hope you guys like this. Like this review so far. Give me a like if you liked it. I would appreciate that. If you're watching the replay and you have any questions, you can also comment in the chat. Let me know your thoughts there. I'll be happy to help you out and give you some answers in the next few days. And I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a nice week. If you have any questions in the week, let me know as well. And I'll talk to you pretty soon. Ciao.